So this is my application for the public health officer application. I'm gonna show in the next clip me actually doing the tourniquet. However, this is just me basically saying what I'm using. So it'll be two things. No one really has a tourniquet just in their home. Usually this is just something like in the rigs. There is some people who probably will have a tourniquet, but for the means of this video, it's going to be basically based on if you don't have a tourniquet at home. So we're going to use a wooden spatula. This is very sturdy, not going to break, very like rough, and so you want to use something that's essentially like that. And then besides that, you would want to use anything for the material. I picked this because it was still pretty sturdy, and I made sure that the t-shirt was a bit like larger in like the width and everything, because of the fact that you don't want it to be too thin to where it's gonna weigh out with more like cons than pros. It'll basically just not work very well as a tourniquet, so that's why we made it a bit wider, and then it is pretty long. So you want to have enough material to work with for any kind of patient rather than just like a specific size. So yes, that will be all you need, just a wooden spoon and a t-shirt. And now let's get into how to actually do it. So beginning how to do it, this is the patient here. Laceration could be anywhere, so it could be pretty much in any place. You would only want to put a tourniquet in any extremity, so you wouldn't want to like put it over like a chest wound, etc. Only on the extremities, so arms, legs. Right now I'll just go ahead and say the laceration is right here around the knee, and we'll say it's an arterial bleed, and we would want to put the tourniquet 2 to 3 inches above the laceration. So we'll put it like about here in her thigh. So you go ahead and just place the tourniquet or makeshift tourniquet, and then you would want to make a knot. Is that to tie? Okay, you would want it to be tied, but I don't want to make her uncomfortable or anything and actually cause pain, because she doesn't actually have laceration. So you make a knot, and then you go ahead and place the windlass. I'm using this. You could use anything else that's a bit sturdy, so like a marker, no pens, no pencils, because that could easily break. Just anything that's pretty sturdy. You would want to then make another knot, just a normal knot on top, just like that. And then once you do so, you'll go ahead and don't spin the spoon exactly, but like spin it with the knot too. And whenever you do that, you would want to keep on going until you don't feel a pulse or you notice bleeding has stopped. This is something that would hurt the patient, so you want to go ahead and address that with the patient and make sure that they know it's going to hurt, to not cause them more panic as they're like experiencing everything. Right now I'm not going to make it too tight for obvious reasons, but normally you would want to keep going until the pulse is gone or there's no more bleeding. Is this fine? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that you reach there, you could go ahead and tie it into place. So just kind of make a knot like that. So you want to go over under like this, and then same thing. Keep it in place, and then you would want to just go ahead and tie it into place as well. And then that way this doesn't move and the entire tourniquet is placed correctly. And that'll be it. After doing so, you would want to make sure you check PMS. PMS is just something that you would want to make sure that there's like no distal pulse, and make sure it's actually properly working. If the patient was to bleed again, or you notice that the bleeding just doesn't, like it stops and then it starts again, you would want to just put another tourniquet on, and you would normally put it above. Never take off the tourniquet. This is still like helping in some way, so that's why you would just keep it on, and then just put another tourniquet on the very top, and that is pretty much it. So have the tourniquet on, no distal pulse, no more bleeding, and that's it. So it's very important to mark down the time on the actual whatever it could if it was on this wooden spoon, maybe on the patient's actual sweatpants or anywhere on their skin. That way the doctor or whoever is receiving the patient understands when the tourniquet was actually placed, to prevent any harm later on whenever they're actually getting care in the hospital. But that will be it. Thank you.